'Tis the season for creativity, and here at Sizzix we've got a great holiday lineup for Christmas dies, Thinlits, embossing folders. Wait until you see this whole release. Now, we're going to start out with some of the classics. Really excited that these are some of the favorites that have been retired in previous years, but Sizzix brought them back for the holiday season. Are you ready? We're going to start out with the Victorian Carolers. This is a big steel rule die with all of this detail and makes a great silhouette. This is really cool for home decor, and really happy that this classic is back. Now the next one, we had so many requests to bring this back. This is the ice skate die. This is the Bigz ice skate that, again, not only cuts out the pair of skates, but it allows you to go in and stitch these because the blade slices through that design, allowing you to lace up the skates. Really great detail for this ice skates. One of my personal favorites, so I'm glad it was brought back, is the candlelight. Now this is a steel rule die that cuts out two different size candles, but also all of these drips that allow you to layer and add dimension. And I like this because this can be used really year round. You can create a fall scape with it, you can use it for winter or holidays, or even for a cool birthday card, just including a single candle on your project. Now this next one, this is actually a new design. It's a revised version of the Bigz lamppost. I did an original lamppost years ago, but I wanted to bring back just a different design. We've kind of cleaned it up, made it a little bit taller, and included this wreath on the front. So this is the new Bigz lamppost, and I like that just because all of these really work together. So let me show you some of the projects. We'll start out just with the candlelight, and you can see here the nice detail of being able to layer that. And whether you're cutting out thick material or if you're cutting out just glitter paper, you can create this really great element and even frame it. So here we've just included this in one of the cabinet card frames just to isolate that, included some of the holiday greens, we've created a bow, and just add a sentiment to the top of the card. This one here you can see the ice skates. Now all the detail, let me just show you right here, just that lacing. Again, that's part of the die where you can cut out those little slits. The die just does that for you. You take any string and simply lace up the skates, but I think it's a much needed detail, especially to create a really cool winter card. Now, if we're using these dies, one of the things that's always important as a designer is seeing dies brought to life in new ways. Not just cards, not just scrapbook pages, but actually home decor. So here I'm going to talk about what we've got are, of course, our carolers. We've got that great silhouette, and you can see that new lamppost and how important it was to design it where it's in scale so you can use those together. But if you take a look at this background, these are all of the holiday word dies that I've designed throughout the years with the script font, the block font, even the thin font, and simply cut through a single sheet of cardstock just to create a background. Layer that on a burlap panel, and you've got a great home decor or gift item for the holidays. Now there are a couple of other classics that we brought back, but this time we've paired them up with a matching texture fade. So again, this is a Bigz die, so here we have the Tattered Poinsettia, and not only does it cut out those layers, but you can see that it includes a matching texture fade. And that's great because it's going to give it all of the design and detail. After you cut it out, you can emboss the piece. That's really a great detail for Sizzix. Another one we have is the holiday wreath, and again it's going to cut it out because of that steel rule blade. It's also going to cut out just different pieces of holly throughout the wreath, and again it has a matching texture fade, so that's going to give it all the detail and dimension after you cut it out. Now, one of the new ones that is a Bigz with a matching texture fade is this great wood slice. I really like that because this could be used for so many different things. This could be used not only for the holidays, but I have some Valentine ideas with this one as well. So it's really unique because you can see that it cuts out that jaggedy disc, and then it's got the texture fade to actually add the rings inside it. Now another Bigz die that we've come out with, this is a Bigz XL. Again, you know I love fonts, I love the alphabet. So this one, this actually coordinates with the Bigz XL font that we released earlier this year. So that was the uppercase, this is the lowercase of that font. This is a really nice storybook font because you can include simple words in your journals, scrapbook pages, and cards. And I love the fact, again, that not only do we have the complete alphabet, but this lowercase also includes the numbers. One pass, steel rule die. Thank you, Sizzix. So here is how we incorporate these elements. You can see when I was talking about this that not only does it die cut because we've got that steel rule die, but look at all of that texture. That is from the coordinating texture fade. Really like that because it gives it so much dimension and dynamic. Here you can see on the holly wreath that I was talking about those little pieces. So this is kind of cut throughout, but it doesn't cut it all the way through. So these pieces are still attached to the overall design. But when you run it through your matching texture fade, you can see all the details of all those individual holly leaves. Now this new one, take a look at this wood slice. We've got this great jagged wood slice, but look at those rings. They're kind of wonky different scale, different perspective, but I like that. This one, I just cut through several layers of chipboard, just embossed the top layer, but that could be used as a coaster. So take a look how we incorporated this on a card. I think that's really nice because again, we've used that wood slice as the background. There's that font that we've incorporated on the front. And again, just pairing it up with some detailed Thinlits and you got yourself an easy holiday card. Now moving on to Thinlits, of course, I love the ability to create really cool detail. So here you can see the village Christmastime that we've got Santa and the reindeer. We also have this great garland and wreath. Now, I called it that because of course you can use it on a card, but these details are scaled for something very important, and that of course is the village. So here you can see that we've got all of these elements. We've got the Santa and the reindeer, we've got the garland, but if you pair it up with the village, you can see that Santa and the reindeer just fly right off the rooftop of the little building, or you can take any of these garland elements and you can cut them to actually frame the house. Now the wreath, of course, that fits right on the front door. I also love the fact that you can even incorporate it on the brownstone. All of those details on one die. When it comes to Thinlits, the possibilities are truly endless, and take a look at these releases. Here we have Home for the Holidays, and this one has a really great retro car. It incorporates the panels, the tree, even the Merry Christmas word, and of course the rolling hills in the background. This one is truly fun. Has a nice little retro vibe to it. Then we have this one. This one's nice because it does create that dimensional snowman. You can see here that we have the ability to layer all of these pieces. Because of course it's a Thinlit, we can incorporate multiple dies in one single pack. But it sets the whole scene. You've got everything from the mountain in the background, the trees, even the moon up in the sky. So you can see the potential to create your own winter scene. Now this one's brought back from an older decorative strip I did of a fold-up bow, but what I did a little different, I resized the bow, I gave it longer tails, but now that it's a Thinlit, it's very easy because I can lay it exactly where I want on the paper and just cut out those dimensional bows. Then we have this guy, this Merry Christmas. This is a very cool Thinlit because it cuts out this really large script word that can be used just as a card. Wait till you see the samples, by the way, because it's cool. Or home decor, you can put it in the center of a wreath, you can even put it in the center of a table. So this one's really nice because you can see that the Christmas is all connected, but of course Merry, those are individual letters, so you can place that anywhere you want when you cut this out. Then we have a couple of texture fades, and I do like this design because we've got this birch background. This provides really cool texture, not only for Christmas, but a nice woodland theme. And of course, snowflakes. You could never have too many snowflakes, whether you're doing dyes or texture fades. This one is a really nice background, again, because of that whole winter setting. So let's take a look at the samples because so many ideas are in my head right now. Where do you see this one? Look at this. This one's so cool, this Home for the Holidays. You can see we've got that wood paneled car with the tree, the little package coming out of the trunk. We've got all of these branch trees, and there's the rolling hill. And of course, when you open it, you also have that Merry Christmas to put inside. So all of these components can be used, just like I did here, to set the scene, or you can incorporate each die individually. Then we've got this one, again, that whole dimensional layer. We've got that 3D snowman, we've got the hill in the background. This one we just did a little texture on the background, but I really like the possibilities when it comes to Thinlits to really design an entire scene or winterscape. Now both of these, of course, these incorporate that Merry Christmas, but what I wanted to show you is that just because it has that little cool retro vibe doesn't mean it can't be glamorous and beautiful by incorporating just that metallic cardstock and sparkle. Look at that shimmer on that. And of course that's framed with one of the oval frames in there. You can incorporate the little bow at the bottom, but that one is a really nice, elegant Christmas card. Here we've taken that and just kind of given it a little bit of a woodland vibe just by taking and incorporating that birch background, that texture fade, and of course layering that. And here we've got a new festive green that's coming up that's really cool. The new festive green, this Thinlit just really has a lot of details to it because of course we've got flowers, we've got pine cones, we've got different sized branches, and we have that bow. And this could be used on its own, or of course if you already have the holiday greens in the large and mini, you can include all of these really to create a nice kind of assortment, if you will, of different greens for the holidays. Now this Thinlit's really nice. This is a winter wonderland. We have different sized deer, everything from the large one to smaller ones, and of course this really unique snowy background. And I'll show you the sample of that because again, this is going to cut out that negative space of that little snow flurry in the background. A texture fade. This one, of course, we split up one of the earlier sets where we just incorporate this poinsettia just by itself because this makes such a great background. I love the fact that now you can choose individual texture fades when you're trying to pair them up with a project. So here on the background, here you can see the greenery in action. Now you can see here we've just kind of assembled them and just cut multiples of them and created a wreath and just put it onto a burlap background, splattered it with a little white paint for a snowy effect. Very, very cool. Now both of these guys, here again you can see that just by changing your color palette you can go from winter to woodland and whimsy. I'll start with this one, just going in and showing that greenery where we have that layered poinsettia. We've got one of the original of those script, the vintage script that I did last year. So you can pair this up with any type of font, whether you want to go ornate or whether you want to go just very simple. And of course, that texture fade, you don't always have to call out a texture fade with really rich colors. Sometimes just using the subtlety of the texture is all the project needs. This one I wanted to talk about because this one is a little different. This has a lot of detail to it. I started out using the birch Thinlit. Now this was one that I did last year. And anytime I design, I always try to create new elements that are going to work with some of your existing dyes. So here you can see that new Winter Wonderland, all of those deers. You kind of feed those through the tree and you have that main deer in the foreground. That's why he's really big. And then we've got those smaller ones that we can use in the background to create perspective. Those small deer, of course, are always scaled for the village, so you can put those around any of your little scenes or the house. If you look closely in the background, I'll try to tip that just so the camera can catch it. You can see that those little snow flurries in the background were actually cut out of the background and white cardstock was layered behind it. So it just gives a little bit more of a subtle wintry feel. Now on the inside of this one, I paired it with, again, one of the word dyes. I love collecting all the different word dyes in different fonts, but then I included one of those third deer. So remember, you can always take your elements that you use on the front of your card and often include the extras inside your cards. We're always looking for innovative ways to give gifts for the holiday season. So why not create something that's very versatile and dimensional? Because again, after the holidays, you can use this year round. Why? It is a gift card holder that's in the shape of just a little package. And you can see here that it's got the envelope. And if you lift it up, look at that, a gift card. And everything is in one die. So this is a Thinlit that's going to cut out everything that you need. Everything from the box envelope to the insert, to the bows, the ribbon stripes, even the tag. It's very, very easy. And what's nice about this, anytime we have something dimensional, not only do you get all the dies that you need to cut it, but there are detailed instructions inside the package as well as online. So it's very easy to assemble. Here you can see that whenever we're designing dies that actually create something, we try to make it as easy as possible to have all of your score lines in there, your tabs where you can just put adhesive on it, fold this up, there is our base pocket, simple as that. It's sized to fit that little insert that goes on, and then you decorate it. So here you can see that we've got that base little pocket, that envelope that I've shown, and we've got the detail where you can cut that ribbon that goes up the top. We've got that little tag that you can personalize if you want, and then of course the insert. Now the insert also has the top piece, the bow that sits on top, but more importantly, the die even cuts out these notches designed to hold on to a gift card. Now, even if you weren't going to use a gift card, you can use Instax photos or anything to make a little personalized gift for the holiday season. Now, as a designer, usually one idea will certainly spark another, and that's the case in this next die. Now, last year I launched this really cool interactive snow globe die, and you might think, why do I need another snow globe? Well, I heard people collect snow globes for one, but having a different size and different scale really allows for so many different possibilities to incorporate the snow globe. Now, this one, of course, you can see it's that much shorter arch, and we've got that great scene in the background. This year's snow globe, a whole different size, a whole different possibility. That is this one. And I love the fact that this particular snow globe is a much taller, rounder globe. You can see that the village is much smaller, so it offers a whole different perspective when you work with it. But this snow globe die fits a lot of earlier dies. So I talked about the Winter Wonderland with the deer. You can put that in here. The dimensional snowman, that will fit in here because it's a taller globe. Now, that cool Home for the Holidays retro car, well, that fits in the original snow globe die. So you can really mix and match all the components that go in here in addition to what comes with it, because this die does cut out all of these pieces to create your own winter village scene. All of these little rooftops and angles and windows, all of these that you can incorporate together. And of course, the globe itself is cut out, the base, and of course, the clouds, the moon, and the stars. And this is really nice because of course it will fit on a card, but we can take it off the page and really incorporate a nice winter scene. This is an ideology assemblage clock, and all of these pieces were sized to fit inside this clock. So you can create your own little winter scene, light it up, make a little shaker out of it. A really great way to decorate your home for the holidays. So we're going to round out the Christmas collection with a touch of whimsy, and what better to do that than these little funny mini Christmas things. I think they're really great because they're sized to work with planners, cards, scrapbook pages, anything, but they're tiny. And of course, all the individual shapes, they're all on their own individual die. So here you can see that if you're going to cut out the Santa, for example, all the pieces that you need are all on one die. And that's really nice because if you're not using different color cardstock, you can cut them in one pass and then individually ink or color every layer that you put on. Now, of course, these pair really nicely with the new gift tags. Who doesn't need gift tags? They'll work on packages. They're large and small, all different shapes and sizes. But of course, these are sized to work with all of these little things. Now, you can see on the larger tags that are in the gift tag set, they pair up perfectly with all of these mini things. But there's also much tinier tags in there that you can use, again, to write a to and from or write a little message on there. But I love the fact that when you buy dies, you've got a variety of options. You can use these to actually pair up and make these gift tags. Here I've added rub-ons and stickers, or again, you can just decorate for the holidays just to create your own creative inspiration.